Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got Stacey with me at the Anvil, and we're going to be talking about the 15-minute city. How wonderful it could be, you know, if you're into that. It turns out it's a lot like I thought it was. It's a big bunch of bull, and it's more like Hotel California. You know, you can come stay as long as you want, but you can't ever leave. That's pretty much the take on it. Now, this is being tried around the world. They're starting to run some programs. Right. Stacey has gone down the rabbit hole for several hours this evening, so hit the like button. If you like this kind of content, subscribe, because we try to bring value in every single video, and this is really eye-opening.
Well, Chris and I were talking about it, and we pretty had a general understanding of what 15-minute cities consist of. I mean, it's pretty, it's where you can have access to jobs, housing, shopping, health education, food facilities, food productions. You have to do a bike. You don't have to take you can take public transportation. It sounds really, really nice, and there's already stuff that like that exists right now. Here's what I guess I couldn't wrap my head around, and he and I were talking. We're like, why is this such a big deal now? You know, when we have villages like this that have existed, towns that have existed like this. And I kept coming back to money and control. So I said, okay, where's the money coming from? Because that seems to be where it always starts. And that's where I started figuring out the UN, the WEF, World Economic Forum, then the C40, which used to be the C20, and a company that they are working with. And that's where it all started connecting when it comes to the money. And so you want to connect some dots?
Get on it.
All right. So you got the WEF right now. That has all of a sudden become extremely interested in this since the pandemic happened and we had all these shutdowns and lockdowns and all this kind of stuff.
It's like the opportunity of a lifetime for them.
It is, because if you go, they have all these agendas that they're wanting to do. And then if you guys go on the UN website, you guys need to go on the UN website. I went today. They're having a meeting again, January the 31st. All the stuff that they have that they want to put into play, it is crazy. It is called a SDG. It's a Sustainable Development Goals. It's by 2030, and they've got no hunger, no poverty. It looks so amazing. Sustainable cities and communities, which that's where we're going to go to the 15-minute cities that we're doing. You got responsible consumption and production. I mean,
can I talk about the consumption?
Absolutely.
Take some screenshots.
No, because this is all connected, and it all comes back to the money.
So, the food consumption interventions. They've got a consumption intervention program, progressive target, all right? They say you're going to eat 16 kilograms of meat per person per year.
Good luck with that.
All right. Now, that's the progressive goal. The ambitious goal is 0. They don't want you to eat any meat. It's right here. It's on World Economic Forum. Go check them out. Anybody can go over there. They want you to have 90 kilograms of dairy consumption, milk or a derivative equivalent. That's the progressive goal. The ambitious goal is 0. They don't want you to have any of that. I don't know exactly what they want you to eat, but they do want you to have 2,500 calories. They think that's enough for you. Wait, it gets better. But wait, there's more. Clothing and textiles. Progressive target, 8 new clothing items per year. But the ambitious target is 3. Oh, these are nut jobs. I got one more. Private transport. All right. So the progressive target is 190 per 1,000 cars. Per 1,000 people, sorry. 190 cars per 1,000 people. But the ambitious goal is 0. It seems like they could have a lighter goal. They need to try to work on some milestones, because that's going to be pretty tough. But you can tell this is just more, it's more of the same. It's more of these people that think they're, the elite. I hate to call them the elite, but that's, let's just call them those people. They don't care about you. They want all the resources. They want all the energy. They want the rubes to live in these little cities and be controlled and work on what I want you to work on. Don't leave, There's all these things that you're about to learn about, but just know this is real. We're not making this up. Check it out for yourself. Go check out the World Economic Forum website. It's all there.
Yeah. Well, go check out the UN website. Go check out what they've got, their 17 points that they want to do. Go connect the dots and see who is associated with them. And this is where so have you guys ever heard of C20 and C40? So C20 started out, it's called the C20 cities Climate Leadership Group. It's a network of mayors, global mayors, and they started out in 2005, and they became very, very, I guess, famous, popular, whatever you want to say, when they jumped on with the Clinton Climate Initiative. As you guys all know, the Clinton Climate Initiative is associated with the Clinton Foundation, so there was money right there that was involved. So then they became larger and larger. Then they became C40 cities. They're at 97 or 96 cities now. They control 1/12 of the population, 1/4 of the economy. And this is when you start connecting people with the numbers. So right now in Paris, the mayor is pushing. She wants this 15 cities, and she, ironically, is current chair of C40, and she's also part of the WEF. So think about the money that she is going to get from that. Because of all the money, I was talking to Chris, I'm like, when you go into these cities and you have to create, you're going to have to do infrastructure, you're going to have to do grocery stores, you're going to have to do apartments. Think about that. That is going to cost money, and somebody is going to have to foot the bill and get that money. And there's cronies or who's going to get it.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think this is going to be a big flop, a lot like windmills. And it's going to be government subsidized to the hilt. They're going to steal it from the people, and then they're going to put up these bogus cities that they might turn into gulags later. I don't know what it'll be.
Or who knows. But then you've got another one. You got the one that's headed up. So the whole entire C40 right now is headed up by the London mayor. Well, guess who's doing the Oxford, England thing right now? We'll talk about that in a minute. That pilot that just recently, and now they're going into effect January 24. And I want to talk about that in just a second. Then you got the board of director, who's Michael Bloomberg. He's the former mayor of New York. He's got his hand in the pot. And by the way, you guys can also get on there and look, and you can see this C40, the cities. They're in 7 regions, and the United States is part of that, including the city of New Orleans, which we live in the state of Louisiana. So it's
they're everywhere. It's 97 cities.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening.
It's 1/12 of the population and a quarter of the global economy.
Yep.
This is big. I didn't realize. I thought this was some kind of cute idea. This is a
moneymaker.
A quarter of the global economy is a big deal.
And they've partnered with Nordic Real Estate Partners, and they're a Danish company. And they have like 19 million, I think, on the assets on the books, but they have tons of real estate across the country. And I could list all the different countries because I went on there and looked. But here was the interesting fact. They said they wanted to be zero real estate by 2028. They were planning on, from what I understand, getting rid of it.
Because you're not going to own it? Or they're going to
I don't
it
know.
from the government? Maybe they know the government will own it, I bet.
I don't know. And so they're going to take profits? I don't know. But they're
they'll probably
partnering
sell
with
it right
them.
before. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to sell their real estate right before the government takes it away anyway, I guess.
I don't know, but so I found all these key players are starting to connect. So you've got key players that are affected with the UN. You got key players that are with the WEF, but they're also associated with the C40. You guys take a look at them.
So
they're a lot more powerful.
Can we talk about the one that's coming online right now?
Yes, let's go to that one next. So that was the one that's actually coming up in Oxford, England right now, which I said is obviously he's the London of England. I mean, he's the mayor of England, London, and he is the one that's he's head right now of the C40, and he's pushing it. It's getting bad. Residents are up in arms.
The 15-minute city is a UN and WF plan because they want to drive less. In the WF's own words, this rearrangement of cities is absolutely about climate change. This permanent lockdown, it's a permanent climate lockdown. That's their own words. Now, right below that, the 15-minute cities is not just Oxford, but turning up in Brisbane, Melbourne, Barcelona, Paris, Portland, and Buenos Aires. It's everywhere. Oxford, England is where the madness of the 15-minute system is first being implemented. Now,
so they're taking these districts, and you guys can get online and look at the map I did, and they're dividing it into 6 districts. And they're telling you basically have to stay in your district, and you only have so many, 100 times you could drive outside of your district per year, or you were fined, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it was 100, and you have to register your car.
Under new proposal, if any of Oxford's 150,000 residents drives outside of their designated district more than 100 days a year, he or she could be fined €70. So I don't know if it's a one-time fine or if it's every day. That is not the point. It's always small. It always starts, 100 times a year, that's not that bad. Okay, well, what happens when it's 10 or 1 or you can never leave? The Hotel California thing I was talking about. But this is coming out January 24th.
It is.
This isn't speculation, by the way.
Nope.
This is legit. This is in the deck. This is coming out.
And the Oxford residents are very upset from what I read online. They've actually gone and tried to protest. Their protests have been censored. So,
Well, in Oxford, they just approved, as of November 29th, the traffic filters. Now, it's a trial which will turn the city into a 15-minute city, and it will monitor where the traffic goes, where you go, everywhere. And just keep in mind,
they said it would even monitor the air like pollution type, because of the car congestion. They said it would. Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, these smart cities, these walkable cities, 15-minute cities, whatever, open-air prison cities, will be able to analyze your face from 50 meters away and know what you search, what you like, what you don't like, where you give.
What you're purchasing,
your social credit score, who you're interested in, who you're looking at, who you're dating. It's unbelievable what's coming. And this is all part of it. And these 15-minute cities look like a bust to me. To be honest with you, I think it's gonna be a big flop. I don't think.
I hope so.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of people that would just love this. They want Big Brother to take care of them forever, and they just,
So,
they don't care.
I think it's going to affect the poor. So when they go into these cities, and because I know some of the ones I lived in, where when you came up to see me in D.C., it wasn't cheap to live there.
I guess they'll push them out with us. They'll push them to the outskirts.
Because it was expensive. It was not cheap. So if they're not going to come in and build for these lower income, and if they can't drive to another district to get a better job, I don't know. I just think it's going to make the rich richer if this were to go through, and I think make the poor poorer.
Yeah, well, anytime, they talk about ending poverty and all these things.
Yeah, that's
ending world hunger and all
yeah.
this stuff. That's a bunch of talk.
Yeah.
They don't want to do anything but fill their belly. That's it.
Yeah.
They don't care about climate. They just want the best for themselves, and they want to treat us like rubes, like slaves. They want to tell us what to do, where to go, how to do it, what to eat, what to wear, how you can, how many times you can leave. It's ridiculous. And we are the fringe. I should have worn my fringe hat.
You should have. You need to get that back out.
That was Klaus Schwab, and people say, what is the fringe? Well, he said there was going to be people that lived outside the cities that didn't participate, that didn't want anything to do with your little wicked plan. And then Trudeau come out during the trucker debacle when the people said no to the medicine, and he said, that's not everybody. That's just the fringe. That's the fringe minority. But they're all in cahoots. Justin Trudeau is part of the WEF. He was been groomed by them. There's most of Canada's parliament is. Most of the people that are in charge of Canada. That's why Australia too, Paris, all these things. It's all connected.
Yep.
And
when you start seeing who is associated,
I can't believe Louisiana's in there.
It is. It's part of the yeah. But when you start seeing who is connected with what and what organization, then it kind of starts to make sense and add up. Because I really just thought it was a cute idea. I didn't realize how much money was involved or how much money they had put in it in the last 2 years. And I think that's when it became a big issue. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I pray that it is a debacle, just like we've seen everything else sometimes be with the windmills or the solar panels or.
Well, solar panels.
Not solar
bad.
panels.
Even though 90% of them are made with slave labor in China. You should always remember that.
Well, there were some people that got like grants and stuff from the government, and then they just took the money and ran, like Nancy Pelosi's son. And
oh yeah, that was the sun generator.
Oh,
thing.
sun generator.
Out in
okay.
Nevada, we went by and it's a bunch of mirrors and all kind of cool stuff. So what is that? And they told me. I said, yeah, Nancy Pelosi's son went over like several $1 million over, and it still doesn't work. So him and his buddies got rich. That's the way this stuff always works. Yeah. Hey, this was tried in Australia, by the way.
Yep.
In Canberra. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but my Australian buddies, fill me in on what you know about that. They said it was a series of separate satellite cities back in the 60s, separated by big belts of bush, and linked by freeways. The original small cities of North and South Canberra were supplemented by a bunch of cities I can't even pronounce. It's 5 of them. But anyway, it didn't work there.
No, and it also was
either.
South Korea. There was also the Soviet Union, and there was one other place that they've actually tried to implement this stuff, and it did not work when it actually came right down to it.
I wonder if they're banking on less people being around, because I just don't see that. How are you going to make enough 15-minute cities? You know,
It doesn't add up.
no, it's something ain't right.
No. Yeah.
You know, I'm not as smart as these guys, but I got a whole lot of common sense. I'll tell you, this ain't going to fly. Have an awesome, awesome day. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Later.